Most people want the reward. Very few people want the process. They want confidence without discomfort, success without sacrifice, results without repetition. They want life to improve while continuing the same habits that created their current situation. But life doesn't work that way. The truth is simple. If you want a different future, you have to become a different person. And becoming a different person requires something many people spend their entire lives trying to avoid: the grind. Not because grinding is glamorous, not because suffering is a badge of honor, but because growth demands effort. Every meaningful improvement in your life sits on the other side of consistent work. And that's the part most people underestimate. They think motivation will carry them. They think inspiration will save them. They think one perfect opportunity will suddenly change everything. But real progress is usually built through small actions repeated long enough to produce results. The challenge is that modern life makes consistency difficult. Every day there is something competing for your attention. Notifications, entertainment, social media, endless distractions. The world is constantly offering comfort while your goals demand effort. And if you're not careful, you can spend years being busy without actually moving forward. That's why this conversation matters. Because your future is not determined by what you want. It's determined by what you're willing to do repeatedly. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is often filled with ordinary work. Work that nobody applauds. Work that nobody notices. Work that feels boring. Work that feels repetitive. Work that often feels invisible. But that invisible work is where transformation happens. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is the belief that talented people have an easier path. Talent can help. Opportunity can help. Resources can help. But none of those things replace consistency. A person with average talent and relentless discipline will often outperform someone with natural ability who lacks commitment. Because talent creates potential. Grinding creates results. Potential means nothing if it never becomes action. And action is what separates dreamers from builders. Many people spend years thinking about the life they want. Fewer spend years building it. The reason is psychological. The human brain naturally seeks comfort. It wants efficiency. It wants safety. It wants immediate rewards. That instinct helped humans survive. But in modern life, it often becomes a trap. Because growth usually feels uncomfortable. Learning feels uncomfortable. Improving feels uncomfortable. Discipline feels uncomfortable. The brain interprets discomfort as something to avoid. But successful people learn an important lesson. Discomfort is not always danger. Sometimes discomfort is evidence that you're growing. Sometimes discomfort means you're leaving old limitations behind. Sometimes discomfort is the price of becoming stronger. The people who achieve meaningful things are not always the most motivated. They are often the people who learned how to keep going when motivation disappears. Because motivation is temporary. Nobody feels inspired every day. Nobody wakes up excited every single morning. Nobody feels confident all the time. Feelings change. Energy changes. Circumstances change. But discipline creates stability. Discipline allows action even when emotions are inconsistent. And that is where the grind becomes powerful. The grind is not about working yourself into exhaustion. It's about building a mindset that doesn't depend on perfect conditions. It's about understanding that progress matters more than mood. Some days you'll feel focused. Some days you won't. Some days you'll feel strong. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel confident. Some days you'll doubt yourself. The question is not how you feel. The question is whether you continue moving forward. Because every day you keep showing up, you strengthen your ability to trust yourself. And self-trust is one of the most valuable forms of confidence. Real confidence doesn't come from positive thinking alone. It comes from evidence. Evidence that you can follow through. Evidence that you can stay committed. Evidence that you can do difficult things even when you don't feel like doing them. Every promise you keep to yourself builds confidence. Every promise you break weakens it. That's why the grind matters. It's not only changing your results. It's changing your identity. You begin to see yourself differently. You stop viewing yourself as someone who quits when things become difficult. You start viewing yourself as someone who handles challenges. And that shift changes everything. Another reason people avoid the grind is because they underestimate the power of delayed gratification. Modern culture teaches people to expect immediate rewards, instant entertainment, instant feedback, instant satisfaction. But meaningful success rarely arrives instantly. It grows quietly, slowly, often invisibly. For a long time, it can feel like your effort isn't producing anything. But growth is happening beneath the surface. Skills are developing. Habits are strengthening. Character is forming. Momentum is building. The problem is that most people quit before momentum has time to work. They stop too early. They judge the process too quickly. They expect massive results from minimal effort. And when reality doesn't match expectations, they return to comfort. But every worthwhile achievement requires patience. The ability to continue without immediate proof is one of the most powerful advantages a person can develop. Here's the reality check. Most people will never reach their potential. Not because they are incapable. Not because they are unintelligent. Not because they lack opportunities. But because they consistently choose comfort over growth. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for confidence. They wait for certainty. They wait until conditions feel ideal. And while they wait, time keeps moving. Years pass. Opportunities disappear. Regret grows. The uncomfortable truth is that your future is being shaped right now. By your daily decisions. By your habits. By your routines. By what you repeatedly choose to do. Success is rarely a single event. It's usually the result of thousands of small choices accumulated over time. That is why the grind matters so much. Not because one day changes everything, but because every day contributes something. Now let's simplify the psychology. Your brain repeats what it rewards. If you constantly reward distraction, distraction becomes stronger. If you constantly reward discipline, discipline becomes stronger. Whatever behavior you practice most becomes easier. That's why habits matter. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You often fall to the level of your systems. And your systems are built through repetition. So what should you actually do? Start small. Focus on consistency before intensity. Reduce unnecessary distractions. Create routines that support your goals. Protect your attention. Keep promises to yourself. Measure progress over months, not days. Stop expecting perfection. Focus on improvement. Accept that some days will be difficult. Accept that growth takes time. Accept that meaningful change requires patience. Most importantly, stop negotiating with every challenge. Not every feeling deserves a vote. Not every excuse deserves attention. Sometimes the best thing you can do is simply continue. Continue learning. Continue building. Continue improving. Continue showing up. Because the person you want to become is built through repetition. The future you want is built through repetition. The confidence you want is built through repetition. The discipline you want is built through repetition. You have to grind. Not because life is unfair. Not because success is impossible. But because anything valuable requires effort. And effort is the bridge between potential and reality. At the end of the day, the biggest competition is not other people. It's the version of yourself that keeps choosing comfort over growth. The version that delays action. The version that waits for motivation. The version that settles. Every day you choose discipline over distraction, you win. Every day you choose progress over excuses, you win. Every day you choose growth over comfort, you win. The lesson is simple. Nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can build your habits for you. Nobody can develop your mindset for you. Nobody can create your future for you. The responsibility is yours. And that's not bad news. Because it means the power is yours too. You have more control than you think. More potential than you realize. More strength than you've demonstrated. But none of it matters unless you use it. So stop waiting. Stop wishing. Stop watching from the sidelines. Commit to the process. Commit to the work. Commit to becoming stronger. Because the life you want isn't built through hope alone. It's built through action. It's built through consistency. And above all, it's built through the grind. If this message connected with you, ask yourself one question. What is the one area of your life where you've been waiting instead of working? Share your answer in the comments and start taking action today.